As you look at this photo, what are the things that stand out to you? I notice this bright object, which happens to be a planet, and then the Milky Way galaxy is going all across this photo. I also notice some familiar patterns, such as the fishhook and the teapot. And the teapot is asterism in Sagittarius, the Archer constellation. Is a very easy pattern to find. It is located near the brightest part of the Milky Way galaxy, and knowing this can help you find this star pattern. It's also located right next to Scorpius, which makes this giant hook-like shape in the sky. And in this video, we will explore the shape of this asterism, get practice finding it in the night sky, and make connections to help you remember this star pattern. Welcome to Learn the Sky. My name is Janine, and I'll be your guide as we explore the night sky one constellation at a time. First, let's review what an asterism is, because it's not a true constellation, but rather a pattern or a group of stars that can be part of a constellation or a collection of constellations. Sometimes they're simple shapes of just a few stars, and other times they're a collection of lots of bright stars, and they're useful for people who want to familiarize themselves with the night sky. So when you look at this picture, this shows just an example of the night sky. Here are some asterisms. They are simple patterns that are connecting bright stars that are either close together or very bright. And then they also may make a certain shape, such as a sickle shape or a hexagon or a triangle. But then here are where the constellations are. So they're similar because they're both star patterns, but they're different. Here is another example, and I'm going to use this photo because it shows exactly where the teapot is, because that's our focus for this video. Here, this is what the asterism lens looks like. Okay, you have Maui's hook right here, or the fish hook, it's also called in the Pacific arena. And then here is the teapot. Over here we have the summer triangle along with the Northern Cross. I have videos on both of those asterisms, so go see that if you want to learn more. But here are where the constellations are, and these aren't all the constellations, but some of the main ones that you would see at night. So in this video, we're going to focus on finding Sagittarius, or the teapot asterism. And the pattern of both the teapot and Sagittarius are very, very similar. So it's often, the teapot is, again, just not a true constellation, but just a pattern. So as I look at this photo, I notice the summer triangle that's towards the left side of this photograph. And this asterism is made up by three constellations. We have Lyra, Cygnus, and Aquila. And then backing up, if we take those away, I want you to notice where the brightest part of the Milky Way galaxy is. And it is right here. Okay, when we're looking at this area, we're looking at the center of our own home galaxy. And that's exactly where Sagittarius is. And when I teach this to my student, I often do sing the song, I'm a little teapot, showing them where the handle is, where the spout is, and when it gets all steamed up, hear me shout, because that is like the steam coming out of the teapot, but that's really the brightest part of the Milky Way. And notice that the teapot is also right next to Scorpius. Scorpius is very obvious to see in the sky. It is this giant hook in the night sky. It's often called the fish hook. That's one of its asterism names, but it is represented as a scorpion. Let's get some more practice with identifying the teapot asterism, which is a part of the Sagittarius constellation. This is a little bit more of a realistic view of what you would see when you would go outside. So the Milky Way isn't as bright here, but again, look for the area where it is the brightest, right here. So if you can find that area, from there you should be able to point out the teapot. Let's get one more photo to practice with. Okay, here we have both Scorpius and Sagittarius in here. There's also a really bright object. This is a planet. You can tell because it's just more disc-like in shape and it's very bright. But as you're looking at this photo, take your view towards the left side. Towards the bottom left side, this is where the teapot pattern is. And if we were to point it out, this is what it looks like. So again, notice that the very bright area of the Milky Way is coming out of the spout of the teapot. And then right here is where we see Scorpius. We can't see the whole thing, but you can see these 3 stars that line up in a row. And then this bright star is known as Antares. And of course, this is our planet. Let's take a look at one more picture just to get a little bit more practice with finding the Teapot Asterism. So as you look at this photo, remember there are 2 things to help you find the teapot. One is the brightest part of the Milky Way galaxy, which is right here, and from there you should find the teapot. But I realize that not everybody can see the Milky Way galaxy from where they are living. Probably most of the population can't see the Milky Way galaxy. There's too much light pollution out here. But you can also use the hook pattern right here. That's a part of Scorpius. So that's the other way to find where this pattern is. And when you're looking outside, these stars really do stand out. To me, it's one of the easier patterns to find in the night sky. Now we're going to use Stellarium to help us find the Teapot Asterism. You want to be able to type teapot into Stellarium because it only really recognizes constellations and not asterisms. So if I click on this right here, I am going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And immediately I can just see that teapot shape. Here's the handle, here's the spout, here's the little cap on top of the pot. And notice the Milky Way is here in the background. And if I were to turn this off right now, the atmosphere, this is more realistic version of what it would look like. If we turn off the glow of the atmosphere and the interference of light pollution, again, you can see that pattern right here. I also notice the fishhook asterism, which is a part of Scorpius. And if we were to point out all the constellations here, here is Sagittarius. Now this star pattern, the way they connect the stars, does look a little different than the International Astronomical Union, but the IAU has also acknowledged that there are various patterns that are out there. So yeah, there is another example of how to use Stellarium to help you learn more about the night sky. I use this all the time in my classroom, and I'm just starting to use it on this channel. But what's so great about it is you can just zoom in and find such cool stuff. And this is what I love about this constellation, is because there are so many cool things to see here. M7, M6, M8. It's just awesome place in the sky to observe, and a very popular area for astrophotographers. So I hope this was helpful. Again, use Stellarium. This is the web version. I also have it downloaded on my computer, but I encourage you to use this app. It's so helpful and so much fun to play around with and just discover new things. We've come to the end of our video about the Teapot Asterism, so let's review everything we've learned so far. This asterism is located in Sagittarius the Archer, and it's best seen in June, July, and August, which is summertime for the Northern Hemisphere and winter for the Southern Hemisphere. It is pretty much visible from both hemispheres, unless you live above 55 degrees north. You can see it pretty much everywhere from 55 degrees down to the equator and everywhere in the Southern Hemisphere. And the best way to find it is to look for Scorpius. Look for that giant hook-like shape in the sky. And if you're lucky enough to see the Milky Way galaxy from where you live, then look for the brightest part of the sky, and from there you'll be able to find the teapot pattern. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, are you able to easily find this star pattern in the sky? Do you have any other tips and tricks with how to find it? Feel free to share below. And again, as you go outside, remember, it takes time and practice to be able to see the different star patterns, and they really vary depending on where you live in the world in terms of the different patterns that cultures will make and connect with. So again, thank you so much for watching. As you go outside, take a friend with you, share what you learned, and as always, keep looking up.